Good evening, friends. You know, we talk about never again, huh? Never again will we go to the train tracks and the train cars. Never again, right? We talk about it. We yak about it. Never again. You know, guys, there's a reason why during the Nuremberg trials, why the Shoah was called a crime against humanity. It wasn't called a crime against the Jews. It was a crime against the Jews, ostensibly, but it wasn't called that. It was called a crime against humanity. Now you could say, well, they just wanted to detach it from the Jews and they wanted to make it kind of humanism. No, that wasn't the reason. It was a crime against humanity because to give you the lesson, to show you the idea that it could happen to any group of people for any reason, at any time. And it's one of those things that, you know, it creeps up on you. So people get offended when you talk about this, right? They don't understand that we're not in camps now. We're not in camps. We're not in Auschwitz. We have internet, we have food, we have this, we have that. But we are in an era where, you know, the train tracks, we're on the train tracks, you see. There's the train tracks. We're on it. But we don't understand where those train tracks are leading us to. You know? We don't understand what's going on. Just like the previous thing crept up. You know? And by the time it happened, we didn't even know how the hell we got there. It's the same thing here. We don't understand what's going on. We don't understand what's going on. You know, and I hope that we wake up sooner than later, because if we don't, we're going to end up being, you know, we're going to end up in a very, very big calamity. And then we're going to say, how the hell did we not see this? How were we so blind? You know? How do we go so crazy? Why did we listen to these people? Why did we let these people lead us down a path of complete and utter insanity? This is what people don't understand. They don't understand what the path is. They don't understand that there's a train, or that there's a train track, and that we're on it. They don't understand that we are being taken somewhere. We think we're being taken just to, you know, at that time they were told they're just going to relocate somewhere. You know? And then they got to wherever they got to. And it was like, it looked very nice, and then, you know, but then they went in and they were processed through, and then they went directly to you know where. Women, kids, men, just like today, you know. First they told us it was only going to be the older people, and now it's going to be people of this age, such and such age. And now it's going to be now it's going to be kids. But it's not, you know, you don't have, at least in most countries, you know, unlike Australia, they don't have people coming to your house, pulling you out of your home. They don't have that. It's not happening, right? They don't have that. It's not what's happening. What's happening is a great manipulation, a great, deception, a great diversion, a ton of propaganda. They know that they can't just come into people's homes and drag them out. That's not how they're going to do this. If they did this, it would be too obvious. If they did it like this, then people really would be like, wow, like, okay. And I'm surprised that in Australia they're allowing this, but it's crazy, yes. But here it's slow. It's slow. It's deliberate. They're telling you, well, we're not going to do this, and then a month later, well, sorry, we have to go and do it. Why? Because there's there's a variant. Or, we just had more deaths, whatever it is. There's always a reason they come up with. There's always a reason. They always find something. So yeah, guys, you walk around the streets, doesn't matter if it's in Israel, America, wherever you are. Life is supposedly normal, right? People are sitting, eating their shawarmas and their pizza, hanging out, like nothing changed. Nothing changed. If you peek just beneath the veneer of what you think is normal life, and look a little bit beneath the surface, you'll see that people are basically being primed for something. They're being groomed. They're being lulled into a deep sleep. And they don't even realize it. Most of them. Many of them. Depending on where you go, maybe. Let's say in America, it's 50% of people that realize it. Here in Israel, I would say 75% do not. Unfortunately. And the irony is that, let's say you go to America, if you want to go the political route, most of the people who love the freedom are right-wing, on the right-wing side of the spectrum. Not all. Here in Israel, it's the opposite. You have Dati Leumi, Masorti. The government says they do. And then you have the left-wing who are just like, no, sorry. We're going to be protesting. And which is why it's a mistake to politicize this thing. But you see how in different countries you have different dynamics. Here in Israel, people went through the army. They went through all kinds of wars, So when the government tells them to do something, clearly the government knows something they don't know. The citizens don't know, right? The Shabak, the Mossad, whatever. What they forget is that the government, because that's the case, the government is also has been complicit of a lot of horribly sinister things against its own people. I hate to say that as a person who, made Aliyah, wants his family to make Aliyah, loves this land. See, I get confused between land and the government. And I used to argue with Haredi people and Hasidic people. I used to talk about, and I still, don't get me wrong, I'm a student of Rav Kook, right? Still am. But you could be a student of Rav Kook and not ascribe to culturally the group that claims monopoly on his Torah. Which in reality, if Rav Kook saw them today, he would, if Rav Kook saw what became of the Dati Leumi today here in Israel, he would come at that time to Rabbi Sonnenfeld and say, Rabbi Sonnenfeld, I'm very sorry, you were absolutely right. That's what would happen if Rav Kook saw what was happening today. He's looking down and he's weeping. He's weeping to what happened to these supposed people who supposedly learn Emunah. And I'm not talking about the way that Breslov learns Emunah. I'm talking about they learn Emunah in a real way. But I don't know, guys. I look around. I don't see no Emunah. I see people who are telling me that they made Hallel when they found out about the that was developed and was going to be given out to all the citizens. They said Hallel. They said Hallel. They said Shechianu. I mean, my friends, that is, I'm sorry, that's Avodah Zarah. That is idol worship. Textbook idol worship. You know? And so Rav Kook would look down and just weep. And I weep with him. So, I was saying there's the land and there's the government. And honestly, this government had a friend, the same friend in Brooklyn who, I mentioned before, he's a little bit clairvoyant. He told me straight up, he's like, 75% of the people in the Knesset are Erev Rav. I'm like, 75? You're being generous, dude. He's like, no, it's 75. It's not 80, it's not 90, it's about 75. I'm like, I wonder who are not Erev Rav. There's a few of a few of the Haredim are not, maybe. Sephardi Haredim. A few of the religious. There's a few seculars in there that are not. Everybody, Arabs, some of them are actually, believe it or not, pro the state. But the rest are Erev Rav, straight up. Anyway, guys, that was just a little primer for what I'm going to talk about tonight. So, I'll speak to you guys in a few minutes. Alright, cheers.